Hello everyone and welcome to another Schmeat video. Obviously, it is almost December. We are almost done with the month of November. Happy early Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope, all of you get to see your family, loved ones, friends. I just had a Friendsgiving a couple days ago. It was awesome. As you can see, because it's almost December, we are getting in the Christmas theme. We have a little Christmas tree picked up from Goodwill. And obviously, to make it feel homey for this video, we have a fireplace behind me. So what I want to check in for this video is the Lamelo Ball versus Anthony Edwards debate, because I think it's really interesting. And last year, I think it got me a ton of views whenever I did a video comparing the two, because, they were the 2 and 3 picks overall in the 2020 draft. They play very, very differently, but are often compared to each other as scorers, as playmakers, as team success, as individual, off the court entities that they are, because they are, superstars in their own right. Obviously, Lamelo has more of a social media following from his upbringing than Anthony Edwards does, but I think it's important to keep this debate going, right? Because I see a lot of hate on Twitter whenever there's an Anthony Edwards post on there. I'm usually commenting, they lost the last 4 games of whatever post they're referencing. I know I can probably put it on screen, but it was a tweet of Anthony Edwards stats, and I was like, what's their record in those games? But I am not a hater. I did come off as a hater last season, and I did take down a couple videos of me explaining why Lamelo Ball is better than Anthony Edwards, and I know a lot of people didn't like that, but we're going to revisit it, guys, and I have both their stats up here. All those stats don't tell you everything. I want you all to emphasize that. I have the standings pull up there, and then I have a little thing on my iPad, which I just got, of kind of a player ranking between the two teams. Who's the best player between the two teams? Who's the second best? You guys get the idea. I have all that in this video, so if you guys like Hornets content, overall NBA content, subscribe and like. But let's start with the stats. Lamelo Ball, 19 points a game, up from his 15.7 points a game last season, which is important, and I'll get to that. 7.8 rebounds and 7.7 assists. In those categories, he's up as well. He was averaging about 6 rebounds and 6 assists last season, so he's already on maybe an all-star pace. I was going to make a video about, if he could make the all-star team, because it's between, him, Trae Young, Malcolm Brogdon, although his team success might derail his all-star ballot. I have Kyle Lowry on there just because they're going to be good. And if I look at the standings, I'm trying to think of other players. Who else was I think Lonzo Ball's not going to make it. The Nets, Kyrie is out. James Harden could take one of those guard spots. Wizards, Bradley Beal, maybe. Darius Garland ain't going to make it. Derrick Rose isn't going to make it. Kemba Walker isn't going to make it. Bucks, Drew Holiday's been injured. Celtics, Jaylen Brown, really good stats. Only almost 26 points per game this season. I could see him maybe making it, although they're the 9th seed. 76ers, obviously Ben's out. Hawks, I just mentioned Trae Young. Raptors, Fred VanVleet has maybe been the most underrated player this season. I mentioned the 13th seeded Pacers in Malcolm Brogdon. Pistons, nobody. Magic, Cole Anthony will get 1 vote. But regardless, I was going to make a video on that. I know I'm kind of derailing from the title of this video. I was going to make a video on how Lamelo can maybe be an all-star this season. His stats are looking at it. 39% from threes, up from a season ago, shooting 35% last season. And his shooting's up. His per game is up. Win shares are up. He's doing it all out there. Lamelo is the real deal, and what sets him apart from Anthony Edwards is that he is not only a scorer. If you look at the 7 assists, 7 rebounds, his efficiency as a second-year player who dominates and is the guy who has the ball in the hands on this team, other than Terry Rozier, to be that efficient, to be that good with the basketball. Let me see how many he's averaging 30 turnovers a game. I expected it to be high. It's higher than last year even. If we compare that to Anthony Edwards is 3.4. So second-year players, they both have their ball in the hands a lot, but obviously a big thing with LaMelo Ball was his playmaking that Anthony Edwards still lacks a little. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is up to 22.5 points a game, which is insane, guys. Like, let's not take that for granted. He is insane. And him putting up 22.5 points per game on a team where the scoring isn't distributed too much. If I pull up their roster, Malik Beasley is not really doing anything this season. They put in a defensive backup point guard in Patrick Beverly. And as I look at their roster, who else is supposed to score besides Cat, D'Lo, and Anthony Edwards? No one. Jalen McDaniels, I know, has a few games here and then, but that is the real debate that really goes on, is would you rather have a guy who on 35% from three and 43% field goal percentage put up 23 points per game, or would you rather have a guy who plays on a more winning team, has a lot of more weapons around him, and puts up a well-rounded game, especially on the defensive end? If I look to his steals, especially 2 steals a game in LaMelo Ball, and I know Anthony Edwards is up there as well in 1.3 steals. These guys do it on both ends of the floor, but I would take LaMelo Ball's well-roundedness as a basketball player and as a facilitator over Anthony Edwards, one functionality and scoring, I'd say. But that does transition me into how both these teams are. And as I already mentioned, the Timberwolves roster is not built to contend. They just aren't. If I look at their standings right now, they're sitting at 10th, which just does put them in the play-in, believe it or not, at 7-9. And if we look at the Hornets, 5th seed, 10-8. So I made a little ranking, as I said previously in this video, of the top. Let's see. There's 5 tiers. I have 2, 4, 6, 7 players here, ranking of the 2 teams. First, the best player between the Timberwolves and the Hornets is Cat. I can't put LaMelo above Cat. I just don't think you can. If I look at his stats, if I can pull him up real quick, this man's been really good, especially on the defensive end. I think he's been doing a lot better this season. 23 points a game, 9 rebounds, 3.4 assists. His per is 23.4, which is very high. Look at his last 5 games. 21 points, 25 points, 22 points, 35 points, and then he put up a dud in 8 points. But regardless, he's really good. If he can make the All-Star team, which I know in his first 3 seasons, I think he made it once or twice, and he's just not been making it lately, whether that's, being outperformed by other centers in the Western Conference, because there is, Jokic, AD, can't think of many others. Obviously, injuries have been a big part of him not making the All-Star team, but I have him at number 1 over LaMelo. Obviously, I have number 2 being LaMelo. Number 3 was a hard one. Anthony Edwards or Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is on a tear this season. I made, I think, 2 whole videos about him, and I put Miles Bridges ahead of Anthony Edwards. I know, sue me. I think Anthony Edwards will become the better player than Miles Bridges. It'll just take time. And at 4A, I put a 4A and 4B because it's hard for me to rank Gordon Hayward, because he's above average player, but he plays like an average player, if you guys know what I mean. He's very well-rounded. He never seems to have a totally bad game. If he has a bad game, it's just him scoring 5 less points and 2 less rebounds. I have Anthony Edwards at 4A and Gordon Hayward at 4B, as a little bit less player, but still in the same tier as Anthony Edwards, because they're so different that it's so hard to compare. And it's just like LaMelo and Anthony Edwards. Then at 5A, I have Terry Rozier, and 5B, I have D'Angelo Russell. I thought that was fair. D'Lo, if we look at his stats, I mean, you don't hear a lot about D'Lo. You just don't. Since coming out of Brooklyn, I'd say. Obviously, he was a big hotshot on the Lakers, but I'm talking about recently. 19 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists. His per is only 16. His last 5 games. Last 5 games looks great, but I put Terry above him a little bit. I think what Terry did last season, and although he's having a slow start to the season because he's been injured, I think Terry Rozier had a couple good games, which puts him at the same level as D'Lo. Maybe I switch him around. You guys will have to let me know in the comments. But that is today's video. If you like it, comment something, and I'll see you guys later.